The 685th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing the college football and NFL seasons with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 685 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to who was nice to us on the old let me see. Just wait, people. I should have this ready. I know. Dennis Daria. He gave both of us compliments, Gumby. So he gets a compliment from me. This show's dedicated to him. Hello, everyone. I'm handsome Jeff Fox, and we're back again with another regional MMA episode for you. Fury FC goes down Sunday as per usual, which is always a fun time to have a fight card. And we're going to cover it for you. I think there's some gold on the line in the main event in this here fight card, and a familiar name if you're a UFC fan on the undercard. So we shall get to all that in one moment. First, of course, not doing this on my own. I have to bring in the man who is the king of non-UFC picks. He's unbeaten him at UFC, but he's good at every other place. It's the one and only Daniel Gabriel. Hello. Tell the people how good you are.
I mean, we had a little bit of a rough last week. We went down 1 unit, which is
my God.
Yeah. Compared to how we've been doing lately, that's a huge drop off though. And that's got us down to being up 31 units on the year, which is a big old number, which you got to feel good about. So yeah, we're up 31 units on the year. If you're just tailing the simple money line play for a single unit of all of the picks we make during our non-lightning round stuff. I didn't actually. Next year we might track the lightning round stuff, but I didn't track the lightning round stuff this time.
Later rounds are leans.
No leans.
No,
on this
they're
network.
not leans. Oh, yeah,
no,
right.
No leans on the network. Locks not leans.
Locks not leans. Yes. I should have trademarked that before I let it out of the bag, but that's fine. Locks not leans. It's true. All right. So thoughts on this here Fury card? Do you have any future contender series or UFC fighters on here that you know of at this point?
I mean, you got one former UFC fighter and one former contender series fighter. So you already have that. And then I think this main event, I think I've been saying both of these guys in the main event. This could be a contender series fight in the main event. If you put these two together against each other a month ago on a Tuesday, I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelash. That's a great fight. So I think there's a lot of potential on this fight card. In the flyweight fight should be very interesting too.
And the person kicking off the event's name is Fatty, or sorry, there's an H in there, Fathy, but still. Are we covering all 18 fights today, Gumby?
No, we're gonna do the top 5.
How long do these cards take when they have 18 fights?
I don't know. Most of it's not televised, I don't think. Like, I think the first 10 fights don't even appear on Fight Pass or anything like that. I mean, I think you can catch some of them on YouTube. I've been to like live local shows like that. Like Cage Titan sometimes has like 16 fights, and there's like a Muay Thai fight in the middle, and then like some 4-year-olds grapple in a gi, and like it's a commitment. Let's just put it that way.
Yep. All right. Before we get you committed with our picks here, reminder: World Series is ongoing. If you want winning picks, check out the MLB Gambling Podcast. And of course, thank you for coming to our show. If you haven't already, if you can head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, that'll only take you a minute, probably less than a minute. And because only you can prevent corporate gambling from taking over. Now, our non-corporate guys here will give you some picks for Fury FC 98, Khera versus Dixon. Khera, is that right?
Mansher, Khera. Yeah, I believe so.
Sunday in Houston, Texas, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. This coming Sunday, November the 3rd. On prelims on YouTube. Maybe you can watch all 18 fights. Who's to say? So someone check that out for me. I'm not willing to watch all 18 fights. Main card, UFC Fight Pass. That's the important part there. It's in a cage. It's in the Imogen venues in Houston, Texas. 18 fights. As Gumby said, we're going to do the top 5 on the card. And then he has plenty to choose from for our lightning round bonus picks at the very end of the episode. Start things off with a name that probably is familiar to most of you, especially if you're so into MMA that you're watching or listening to our Fury episode. That would be Josh Quinlan, United States of America, versus Sam Kilmer, United States as well. 3 5-minute rounds at welterweight. No odds dropped for this yet. We are ahead of the bookies as per usual. Gumby will give you his best guesstimate, and then you can always discuss it with him online after the fact if the lines drop and they're way off. Also an opportunity to make yourself arbitrage situation. You can take Gumby's advice, and if you see a line advantageous, dive on it before it gets going in the wrong direction. So Kilmer, 7-4, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 3-4 in Fury FC. He's won 3 of his last 4, including his last fight via submission. He's fought at featherweight and lightweight, 8 years younger than Quinlan. Bushido Quinlan, 6-3 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. So he's finished everyone. He's been knocked out himself once. This is his Fury debut. He's lost 3 straight fights. He's not won since August 2022. He went 1-3 in the UFC. Got a no contest in Contender Series. He got busted for drugs, I believe, right? I think like performance drugs. So real drugs. 2 inches of height over Kilmer. So still only 10 fights on Quinlan's resume. Kind of got pushed in the UFC too early, probably, right?
I think so. And so, for anybody who didn't see Josh Quinlan when he was in the UFC, I mean, like the game plan on him was pretty obvious. It was like throw that big bomb and knock a guy out, right? Like he knocked out the Vanilla Gorilla, right? Jason Witt. And like that was his only win. Had a lot of trouble with people who were taller than him. That was a big issue. Had some trouble with Adam Fugit. And so like, I think that the time he spent in the UFC will make him a favorite in here, and probably a big one, probably like -275, -300. And I'll take a stab at Sam Kilmer here. Kilmer, for those of you who have never seen him or never watched or heard of him before, really good wrestler. To the point where like he has done really well against like high level guys wrestling. Like go back and watch his fight with, if you don't believe me, go back and watch his fight with Cody Steele. Cody Steele, held his own on Contender Series, obviously a high level grappler, and Kilmer in that fight took his back multiple times, including late in the fight. Like at first, my first note that I made was like, man, Kilmer is a good wrestler. And then like, it looked like he started to fade and Cody Steele started getting the better part of the exchanges. And I was like, oh, maybe he's a good wrestler until he gets tired. And I don't know if he'll be able to keep that up. And then he came out in the 3rd round and almost immediately took Cody Steele's back and wound up on his back again, looking for a choke. Ultimately, he lost a decision there. I'm not even sure necessarily that I agree with it, but like Kilmer's wrestling is that good. And for me, with Josh Quinlan being just kind of like, I'm going to throw big bombs and hope I knock you out. If Kilmer just closes the distance early enough and gets in on those legs, I don't know what Quinlan will do. Like, I know he stuffed 2-2 takedowns against Adam Fugit. I don't know how I rate Adam Fugit's wrestling. Like, probably good, but like, I don't know. Has he taken down a bunch of dudes who you think are high-level wrestlers too? So, like, I think Sam Kilmer might sneak up on Josh Quinlan here. As long as he avoids the big blow, he should win. As long as he is a 2-1 underdog or better, the value's all on his side. Give me Sam Kilmer.
All right, there you go. Sam, don't call him Val. Kilmer is hopefully a big dog here for you guys until you jam that number up into unplayable range. So basically, does he have to be a very big dog for you to play him?
I mean, if he was like at like plus 130, I'd think twice. It'd probably depend on how good I did on the weekend. This is a Sunday event, right? Yeah. It would depend on how good I did on Saturday. So, but like at 200, I think he's like a fun flyer to have a couple bucks on.
Yep. All right, let's go to featherweights, U.S. versus Brazil fight. Damien Anderson, United States. Gabriel Wanderley from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. We'll talk about Wanderley first. Have we talked about him before? The Recife. How do you say the Recife? Ricife. Is that how you say it? Do you know? Area in Brazil.
Yeah. I feel like we have talked about him before.
Yeah, the Recife Shark is what he is. I'm sure I'm butchering the name, but I'm sure we have some Brazilian fans that can tell me I'm butchering the name. Anyhow, Wanderley is 5-1, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. So he finished everyone. He's never been finished himself. He still owes his rounds regardless. 4-1 in Fury. He's won 2 straight, both via submission. Used to fight at bantamweight, 4 inches taller than Anderson, 5 years younger. Anderson is 3-0, a knockout, 2 submissions, so he's finished every one. He owes his rounds as well. All his fights take place in Fury. 8-4, 8-4-2 as a pro grappler, and that's all I got.
So I think Anderson's going to be a favorite here. Probably not huge, like probably negative 165-ish, if I had to guess. And the reason being, I just think his wins come out looking better than Wanderley's do. And I'm still going to take Damien Anderson here as the slight favorite. The thing about Wanderley, 2 big obvious issues in what I see from him striking. The first one being or see from his MMA game in total. The first one is in his striking, he is really tentative. It's clear he would rather be in a grappling match than he would be in a striking match. Because when he's on his feet, it's not that his strikes look bad, but it looks like he's hesitant. And then the other thing that's his issue is that when he does get taken down, he almost seems pumped about it because he wants to be in a grappling match. And as a result, doesn't try to get up. So as long as the guy on top's got good control, doesn't get swept, and doesn't do anything dumb, he's safe. And so for me, I think Damien Anderson satisfies both of those issues for Wanderley because, first of all, he doesn't necessarily seek to wrestle, which I think is going to be a bummer for Wanderley. Like, he wants a guy who's going to try to wrestle him. When he does wrestle him, he's really strong in the clinch. He does a really good job. Usually it's by a clinch initiated by somebody else, and then he hits the takedown. Safe on top, heavy hips, all the types of stuff that you would want to beat somebody like Wanderley. The more important thing is that he does not want to wrestle. He wants to strike, and he moves really well in and out of range. A lot of times when he's moving in and out of range, there's a lot of feints, and that just scares off a fighter who's tentative and doesn't want to strike in the first place. So I think he's going to have all of the volume. He's going to have all the range, and he's going to be the one picking if it goes to the mat. I think Damien Anderson has a ton of advantages here. The good record and the recent submissions on Wanderley's side might keep this line close. And in that case, I think there's probably a lot of value on Anderson. So give me Damien Anderson here, hopefully as a small favorite.
All right. How about a big favorite? Let's take him as a big favorite, Gumby.
Why would I want him as a big favorite?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Yes. Yeah. Your original guess was minus 165. That's right.
Yeah. Fine. Why would I want that worse?
all the rest of you, excuse me, the rest of you suckers can have him as a big favorite. All right. Because I have underdog on my mind. That's why, Gumby. I was thinking underdog.
Okay.
Underdog
yeah, you're thinking big underdog. Yeah.
I'm always thinking about our sponsors. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all of sports: NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And Boost Over is upon us. Actually, Boost Over must be almost over because we're almost in November already. Anyhow, Boost Over is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky amount of profit boost and much more. They got NBA picks. They had an NBA boost contest, but that would be over by now, as far as I know, unless they've extended it. So it's worth checking it out. You can now use specials and boosts in all your flex entries. Gumby probably doesn't have another Al Horford play because he had one in yesterday's show, and the guy doesn't play every day.
Yeah, no, I'll take Wanderley Robinson. He's playing Monday Night Football against the Steelers. My friend in the comments really bummed out every time I take somebody against the Steelers. But Wanderley Robinson's receiving yards number is only 32.5 right now. I think that's probably ridiculous. Let's take the higher than on Wanderley Robinson.
All right, let's do it. Here's how we're going to do it. You're going to sign up with our promo code MMASGPN. And then you get to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. All right. As I punch my microphone, ladies and gentlemen, always the professional, we are moving back to Houston, and we are moving up the fight card, and we're going to a flyweight belt. Alden, Coria, Chris Ocon, or is it Osan? Ocon?
It's
hard
Ocon.
Or soft?
Yeah.
Ocon. 3 5-minute rounds, 125, both from America. Ocon 8-3, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions, never been finished in a fight. This is his his Fury debut. He's won 2 straight and 4 or 5. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. Used to fight at bantamweight, 1-0 in pro grappling, and then to reach over Coria. Cobra Coria, 8-3, 2 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. 3-1 in the UFC. It's not in the UFC. 3-1 over his last 4. He wishes. Including a submission win in his last fight. He's fought at bantamweight, 2 years younger than Ocon, an inch taller.
So I think the fact that Ocon was on Contender Series, granted it was a minute ago, is probably going, and they both have similar records too. So like between being on Contender Series and like having similar records, I think this line has got to come in pretty close to a pick 'em. Wouldn't be surprised if Coria winds up being the slight favorite though, because he's got like a little bit more prospect hype on him than Ocon at this point, especially because like Ocon went and got like beat up by, is it Hunter Azier he got beat by on Contenders? I think it was Hunter Azier who beat him on Contender Series. So I think Coria probably slight favorite at the very most, like maybe negative 125 to like even money on Ocon. And I'm going to take Coria here. My big piece for him is that like I like how he cuts angles when he strikes. When he comes forward, he does not come in a straight line. He doesn't come in a predictable line. It's like weird angles, great counters. And like he low-key can kind of wrestle a little bit. Like he tries not to as much as he can, but like an upper body wrestling situation works well for him. He fought really crappy competition in his last fight and took that guy down seemingly for fun. But like I think there's enough there that he could stuff some takedowns from Ocon, because that's really what Ocon wants to do, right? Like he, in his last fight with TL Trang, he tried to take him down a bunch of times. He got some positions, but didn't really hold him there. He was circling around the outside a whole lot in that fight, and he did wind up winning, which is good for him. But like, if you're hanging out around the outside on Alden Coria, he's going to pick you apart. He is going to move in quickly and make sure that you're not there to hit him on the return. And then on top of that too, like I think it's going to be harder for Ocon to get his wrestling going if he's moving back against the cage most of the time. And then the other piece that I'll just throw in there that I think is another reason to get behind Coria, Ocon going down to flyweight, if not for it might not be for the first time, but it's in the first time in a long time. And his cardio didn't look good in that Tile Trang fight anyway. He like slowed way down, particularly in the striking when it was late in the fight. And so then he's going to drop another 10 pounds. You obviously have to worry about that as well. So I'm going to take Coria here, probably slight favorite on the books.
All righty. Yeah, I forgot to mention that Ocon was on Contender Series. Gumby filled that in for you.
And I think he lost to another UFC fighter immediately after, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Like I think like a Victor Altamirano or something like that.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter Azier, Victor Altamirano. Boom, he nailed both of them. Amazing, right? And it was like 5 years ago, and Gumby still remembers. 5 and 4 years ago. Oh, the youth. You got youth on your side still, that's why. All right, we're moving on to co-main event time. Once I get the right tab. I can't even find the right tab, Gumby. I'm so old. All right, co-main event is a featherweight bout. Lorram Esteves from Brazil, Moses Diaz from United States of America. 3 5-minute rounds. Diaz is 6-2 with 5 knockouts. He has never been finished in a fight. He is 1-1 in Fury. He's won 1 of his last 3, which was his last fight, which he won via TKO. Esteves is 8-3 with 6 submissions. Knockout artist, submission artist, striker, grappler. He's been knocked out once. 6-2 in Fury. He's won 3 of his last 4. He did get TKO'd in his last fight, though. He used to fight at 160 for one fight, at least. 2 inches taller than Diaz.
So this is one of those ones where I'm going to be really interested to see what the line is, because I went into my handicap being like, well, Lorram Esteves is got to be a huge favorite. And then I talked to some people who are in the know on these types of things, and they were like, no, I expect Moses Diaz to be a pretty significant favorite. One of the people I talked to about such things expected Diaz in the negative 180 range, and I was going to put Esteves at like negative 200. So like, I'm very confused about what will happen here. Usually when we do this on the show, I just say like, let's imagine this was a pick'em. And if it is a pick'em, I think you're getting tremendous value on Lorram Esteves. The big issue with him, obviously, like you said, Moses Diaz being a knockout artist, and Esteves doesn't move his head very much, which is, a huge problem and possibly could get him knocked out in no time at all. But Diaz's takedown defense is really bad. Like it's notably bad. And not only is it bad, like, he gives up his back really easily. If you go, you said he's coming off of a win, right? But the fight before that, I want to say is Cameron Graves was the one I watched. Cameron Graves had his back whenever he wanted it. Literally, like any time in the fight where Cameron Graves was like, it would be cool if I had Moses Diaz's back, then he immediately was on his back. Now, Cameron Graves didn't finish it because I think he's not as good at submissions as Lorram Esteves is, but I think Esteves will only need to do that one time and he will finish this fight. So again, I'm not sure where the line will come in because I thought it would be one way and I'm being told another way. But I really do think Lorram Esteves anywhere near even money would be a huge, huge spot of value.
If you base it on Tapology, on what their users have picked, he should be about plus 138.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like if he's negative 138, he won't be it for long. It will get bet in that direction.
Yeah, because he's 42% of people are picking him to win the fight at this point. So yeah, so there you go. All right. Gumby loves his grapplers though. That's kind of your thing, right?
It is my thing.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the grappler doesn't get knocked out. BetUS. We're brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. US players are always welcome. BetUS is live with Trick or Treat on Horror Street from now until Halloween. BetUS will be offering daily promotions and a raffle entry to win a sports or casino prize pack that they will give away on October 31st. So very, very, very soon. You can enter multiple times, and every $200 deposit gets you one entry. Check out all their, obviously, UFC lines there and MMA lines, and go to sportsgamblingpockets.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. And SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me. And Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. It also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Plus, Rhythm's NBA models are now live. Check out all their Al Horford projections. He will beat them all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/RTHMM. And to the main event for us, where according to Tapology, we got a massive favorite here. This would be for the FFC, so Fury Fighting Championship, Lightweight Championship. Mansher, Khera, United States versus Devon Dixon at 155 pounds, 5-5-minute rounds. Dixon is 7-1-1, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted 1 time, 2-0 in Fury. He's won 3 straight. He's not lost since April 2022. He's fought at welterweight, 4 years younger than Khera. Khera, the Punjabi Prince, is 7-0 with 6 submissions, 3-0 in Fury, 2 straight wins via submission. He's fought at featherweight, 1-0 in bare knuckle fighting, 2-5-1 in grappling, but a champion there. 3 inches reach over Dixon.
Yeah, you're talking about Khera being a favorite, right?
Yeah, my 92%.
Yeah, my guess was negative 300 on Khera. He seems like people, Sean Bitter, who is one of the leading prospect guys out there in the MMA world, has talked about him being on next year's Contender Series. It wouldn't surprise me if he found his way into the UFC before that. It is a light record, but like he seems like a guy they've got on the phone ready to call if they need somebody last second. And the reason's simple, like his wrestling, absolutely relentless. In addition to that, has great cardio. Now, his striking, maybe not there yet to like make a long run up the UFC's lightweight division, because that's a tough division. But like his punches are really straight and to the point, which I think when you're a guy who has a wrestling base, that winds up being like, pretty valuable, because like speed kills, slower wrestlers or guys who are slower on the feet. And so if you're throwing quick to the target or straight to the target, that can really go a long way. And it's gone a long way for him on the regional scene. And the reason I think this stuff works against Dixon, Dixon, a guy carries his chin kind of high in the air, is a guy who, can wrestle a little bit, has always had like, good offense wrestling, but like late in his last fight, he seemed to give up positions because he was like tiring out and didn't quite have everything in the gas tank. Against a guy who's already good wrestling and is relentless in his, his aggression to the wrestling, I think that's going to be a nightmare for him. And then on top of that, too, like I think he's just going to eat straight punches constantly until Khera wants to take down. So, yeah, Mansher Khera, definitely a prospect to look out for. And really, Devon Dixon, even though I'm talking about some deficiencies he has here, really physically strong guy, really well put together game outside of the couple of holes I mentioned. Like he himself, when he can get his ground and pound going, very good. I just think this is a nightmare matchup for him. Both great prospects, but give me Khera here.
All right, very good. Should be a good main event. Let's recap. I think I'm going to get you some bonus picks here. He's got Khera. He's got Esteves. He's got Coria. He has got Anderson. He has got Kilmer. All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow. Plenty to choose from, Gumby. What you got for us?
So you gave me one right off the bat. Fathy, Elsony.
Sounds like you have a speech impediment.
Fathy Elsony is a Egyptian 205er. It's either his debut or he's only got a couple of fights. Whatever I watched of him was either amateur or resembled it. But he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of strength. And he's training out of American top team, so he's probably a fun prospect, even just in that right. So Fathy Alonzi is one of them. One number that you're going to see, and it's going to shock you at the books, is probably Lester Bottress's number. If he's anything, like he probably should be negative 3,000 in this fight. So like throwing that in a parlay is probably not helpful, but it would be weird if I looked at this fight card and I didn't say the name Lester Bottress. This guy is an uber prospect. He will be in the UFC one day, in my opinion, even though he's only like 2 or 3 pro fights in at this time. But the guy is the real deal. Lester Bottress, keep an eye on him. The other one is going to be one who I picked against on a lightning round before, and that's Dallas Dodd. I picked him against him with Lancaster the last time out, thinking Lancaster, just like a big buff 205er with a lot of strength. And Dodd made me look like an idiot. He's got like enough of the wrestling game that I think he makes a lot of big muscly guys at that level look really stupid. And he's up against another undefeated guy here. So maybe he makes another one look stupid. We'd see a decent number on him. So those picks once again, Fathy Alonzi, Lester Bottress, Dallas Dodd.
All right. You are all set for Sunday. We'll get out of your orifice for a few hours at the very least. You can check us out though in our Discord. Talk to us in there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can check us out on the YouTube, of course, in the comments if you want to ask questions or make comments about how great we are. That's MMA Gambling Podcast. Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox, writer there. Same on Instagram for me. Check out my Substack, Money MMA. Lots of good articles, I think. Gambling-related articles you may find interesting. Plus, my free UFC pick'em that I run every week with real live prizes. So try to be Burr at that so he doesn't win 3 weeks in a row. That would be moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has got another podcast called Top Turtle MMA Podcast that he interviews interesting people, sometimes about their problematic nicknames. Who's on it this week?
We are talking to Kyle Machado, who's making the cut down from heavyweight to 205 for this upcoming week. And then fighting the next week, who we're also talking to, is Mansher Abdul Malik off of Contender Series.
So check all that out. Top Turtle MMA. And of course, we are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. So you can get some cool gear, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to help us fight off corporate gambling. Gumby, bid the people farewell.
All right, I'm Dana Gumby Vreeland. He's Jeff the Canadian Shark Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.